They're as American as apple pie, a fan favorite at baseball games, a staple at family picnics, and a quick bite on every corner. Heck, they even have their own local and international eating contests. Hot dogs are an indisputable part of American culture. But where do they come from? And how did they get here? Amidst the many controversies, myths, legends, false claims, and honest misnomers is the inarguable fact that the name may be an American design, but the food itself has a long and foggy history, dating way, way back. In order to find the origin of hot dogs, we must first look to the sausage. A hot dog is a type of cased sausage, pink or red in color, served up on a bun that is sliced down the middle, making it easy to hold the meat with its toppings and its condiments. The word sausage is just a fancy term for any ground up meat that is mixed with herbs and spices, usually with extra fat added, whether the meat is loose or cased. So basically, the difference between ground meat and sausage is that the sausage is seasoned, the ground meat is not. The hot dog gets its pink and red coloring from nitrates and other additives and ingredients. We also know that sausages came to America with German immigrants, but that's the most we can say with any absolute certainty. From there, the hot dog trail grows cold and fuzzy, and at times downright hilarious. It is likely that people have been mincing meat since the first handheld stone grinders were invented. We have artifacts of these grinding tools from all over the world. They were commonly used to grind grains and make primitive medicines using herbs, roots, and teas. It is no stretch to imagine that some hunter or clan wife somewhere also used them to grind up meat for stews to make the meal go further and as an early method of meat preservation, but that is only speculation. Legend has it that it was Guy, the chef of Nero, who created the first cased sausage. The story goes that in these days, pigs were starved for a few days prior to roasting, but on this particular day, someone forgot to clean the pig before roasting it. When Guy noticed this, he plunged his knife into the pig's belly and its entrails popped out, ballooned and swollen from the gases in its empty stomach. This allegedly gave Guy the idea to stuff the intestines with meat and seasonings, exclaiming, "Behold, I have created the sausage!" Well, we're not going to say that it didn't happen, but there are no reliable sources saying that it did. We can, however, date the first mention of sausages back to Homer and the Odyssey, about 700 years before Nero. We also see the Greek playwright Aristophanes mocking a luckless sausage seller in his satire, The Knights, dated to 446 BCE, again predating Nero by about 500 years. Romans traditionally made sausages from pork and pine nuts for the feast of Lupercalia, a festival of eating, drinking, and wenching. While the practices of making primitive forms of sausages probably emerged independently all around the world, Roman historian Marcus Terentius Varro definitively places the process of stuffing spiced and salted meat into pig intestines in Lucanica Basilicata. Writings of both Cicero and Martial confirm this, with mentions of Lucanica as the birthplace of sausages. Romans were not only warriors, they were tradesmen and builders who opened routes for trade throughout the ancient world. This made it easy for people in various tribes to exchange goods, ideas, and of course pay taxes. It was the fateful decision to engage Germany that turned out to be a really bad idea for the Roman Empire and a great idea for the American hot dog. Battle after battle from 12 BCE, Rome invaded Germany and got sent packing until 476 CE when the tables turned and it was Germany who defeated Rome on their own turf, scattering the troops, deposing the emperor, and setting up their own ruler, inheriting not only Rome, but likely its sausage as well. Till this day, Italian sausages are in a class of their own, but it was the Germans, not the Italians, who first introduced sausages to the New World. Two cities in particular lay claims to being the birthplace of sausages: Frankfurt, Germany, where we get Frankfurters or Franks, and Vienna, Austria, where we get our wieners. Sausages were not the only thing that German immigrants brought with them. Dachshunds, aka wiener dog, badger dog, doxy, and sausage dog, are a breed of hound with short legs, long ears, bodies, and snouts that come in a variety of colors ranging from tan to brindle. They can have smooth, wired, short, or long hair. The dachshund was originally bred to hunt burrowing animals like badgers. Miniature dachshunds were given the task of cornering smaller creatures, such as rabbits. Like everything else in this story, there is conflicting information regarding the origins of this breed. The American Kennel Club dates the dachshund back to the 15th century, while the Dachshund Club of America says it was foresters who originally bred them in the 18th or 19th century. Their ancestry is just as confusing, with beliefs ranging that they are a cross between pointers and pinschers. Due to their superior sense of smell and their outward appearance, there is a logical claim that they come from basset hounds as well. Whatever their origins, three things are for sure. Dachshunds can track a scent that is more than a week old. Queen Victoria loved her dachshunds. And this little wiener dog will forever be linked to the American hot dog. In the 1800s, German immigrants brought their prized pups to the States along with their sausages, which they called dachshund sausages. The dog's elongated appearance didn't hurt matters either, as they kind of looked like sausages. Rumors began to circulate that dachshund sausages were literally dachshund sausages. Unfortunately for Fido, there's probably a hint of truth to these rumors. Dog meat was once considered a delicacy throughout European cultures, especially Germany. In other parts of the world, dogs were eaten as well, usually in times of hardship. Even in America, there are numerous stories of eating dogs, horses, and even rats during the Civil War. No worries. Today, most Western nations have laws prohibiting the commercialized sale and distribution of dog meat for human consumption, and in 1985, Germany outlawed it as well. Sausages, just like hamburger, are made using side trimmings of beef, chicken, pork, or turkey that didn't make the grade to be a steak. During the Industrial Revolution, there were no such laws regarding food or sanitation, and ingredients like sawdust, formaldehyde, and the occasional human finger often showed up in commercially packed foods. In 1904, even Thomas Edison made a short film poking fun at what went into hot dogs. Either way, from the perspective of a pig or some other farm animal, it should only be fair that the dog be invited to dinner once in a while too. All things considered, it was likely the shape of the dachshund and the mutual association of being from Germany that inspired the vendors to call them dachshund sausages, and not the actual ingredients. During the 1800s, two very important pastimes emerged in the U.S. Coney Island and baseball. Coney Island was an emerging amusement park described as the poor man's paradise, where people of every background and nationality could go to have a nickel hot dog and take his best girl for a ride on the attractions. Around the same time, a fellow by the name of Abner Doubleday is fabled to have created a game called baseball in the summer of 1839 in Cooperstown, New York, before going off and becoming a Civil War hero. This is another myth that is easy to debunk because baseball is much older than Doubleday, dating back to the early 18th century. Baseball is a variation of two separate British games, cricket and rounders. By the time of the Civil War, baseball was already being played in schoolyards and on college campuses throughout the nation. The games enjoyed even greater popularity in industrialized cities because that's where people congregated looking for work. What better activity to pass the time than baseball? The Doubleday legend likely persisted because it was a feel-good story about an actual Civil War hero. Doubleday was a West Point grad who went on to become a major general in the Union Army. In other words, it was great PR. It was actually Alexander Joy Cartwright who codified the game in 1845. Cartwright was a banker, a firefighter, and a member of the fledgling New York Knickerbocker Club. Cartwright called for a diamond field, foul lines, the three-strike rule, and the abolishment of throwing the ball at runners to get them out. Sausages were easy to sell from street carts. Boil them up or toast them on a portable grill, load them into a steamed bun, and off you go, making it an easy food for fans to handle and eat in the stands. Baseball and hot dogs fit like a glove, and it is said that even the great Gambino once munched down a dozen of them between games at a doubleheader. Legend has it that Antoine Feuchtwanger was a German immigrant who gave his customers little white gloves to handle the hot sausages so that they didn't burn their hands. But the customers kept walking off with the gloves, costing Feuchtwanger more money than he was making. So his wife suggested serving them on buns instead, and thus the hot dog bun was born. Since Vienna rolls have been around since time immemorial, we can safely debunk that one as well. Feuchtwanger's wife, however, does in fact deserve credit for coining the term red hots, as she would shout out to passers-by, "Red hots! Get your red hots!" U.S. newspapers were fundamental in creating various idioms, and hot dogs was one of them. A prominent story persists that Tad Dorgan, a sports cartoonist, once drew an illustration of a dachshund in a bun, but didn't know how to spell dachshund, so he simply called it hot dog. No one has ever been able to find a copy of this drawing, likely because it doesn't exist. It was newspapers and college students who coined the term hot dog, just not Tad Dorgan. Sausage vendors congregated at college campuses and any other places with lots of hungry people. Students at Yale began calling them the Kennel Club. The October 5, 1895 edition of the Yale Record featured a poem titled The Kennel Club about a dog wagon that opened a year before. Dachshund sausages was a mouthful anyways, so this sarcasm morphed the name Dachshund sausage into the easier, more friendly term, hot dog. By 1900, the new name was in common use all about. Sausages had long been served at state dinners, including the coronation of Maximilian III. Nonetheless, Eleanor Roosevelt drew ire for serving King George VI and the Queen Mum hot dogs at one such state dinner, but the king enjoyed them so much he asked for seconds. America, land of the free, home of the Atlanta Braves. We are a salad bowl of cultures, ideas, and ideals, a melting pot of cultural appropriations, where we take your tired, your poor, your huddled masses who yearn to be free. With them, they bring their foods, customs, and ideas. We Americans build upon that, adding our own salty spin to the mix, and to you we return the proud, the strong, the dreamer, the believer, and the hot dog. Yes, hot dogs are about as American gets. We are a people who can turn an ordinary sausage into the American icon. At first glance, the hot dog may appear to the untrained eye to be nothing more than a quick bite on the go. But to people like Nathan Handwerker, hot dogs are the embodiment of the American dream itself. It is an opportunity of which an enterprising young Polish immigrant can save up $300 and buy his very own hot dog cart, and using nothing more than a recipe created by his wife Ida, along with a genius marketing campaign like the Nathan's annual 4th of July hot dog eating contest, turn a tiny business into a multi-billion-dollar international hot dog empire. People come from far and wide to try their hand at gobbling down this fare, and in 2020, Joey Chestnut made world history once again when he broke his own world record, devouring 76 dogs in 10 minutes at the Nathan's 4th of July hot dog eating contest. While modern stadiums offer a menu to rival any five-star restaurant, hot dogs remain the top dog with over 26 million sold each year during baseball season. We are Americans, a nation of immigrants hailing from the very four corners of the earth. A place where in 1893, people like Chris von de Ahe, a German immigrant and owner of the St. Louis Stadium where the Brown Stockings used to play, can go down in history as the one who paired hot dogs and baseball. Today, every major stadium has its own version of the hot dog, usually named after its home team. America. We don't always get it right, but even when we get it wrong, we almost always have the right intentions about it. Our journalism is just as yellow today as it was in the time of Pulitzer, Hearst, and the Yellow Kid, causing us to wage petty wars among ourselves over things that neither side can do anything about. But make no mistake, we are an American brotherhood that believes united we stand, divided we fall. And it was indeed our yellow journalism that gave us the name Hot Dog. For all else, we like it that way. We are Americans. We welcome everyone and bow to no one. We are the eighth wonder of the world. Just ask us. Baseball is our American pastime, and what could possibly go better with baseball than a hot dog on a steamed bun with an ice-cold beer? Hot dogs are everywhere, at games, festivals, amusement parks, on street corners, in convenience stores, and at dinner tables from Coney Island to California. There is no doubt about it. Hot dogs are about as American gets. And the good old American hot dog is here to stay. To the rest of the world, we say, you're welcome.